HF is a difficult team because they're real coached. You know, they're very disciplined, similar to us. You know, they got some length like we do, and they can shoot the ball very well from the perimeter.
What do you really say about them that hasn't been said already? You know, it's going to be a tough game, but at this time of the season, anything can happen.
HF has a really good guard, so we have to make sure we can contain those guys.
They're obviously bigger than us at most positions. You know, they play a pretty tough schedule.
I know they started off a little slow, and now they got the football players back, and they're starting to play, you know, got into basketball shape, so now they're starting to play up to their capabilities.
We're hungry. We don't have 5 or 6 or 7 state championships sitting in our gym, and that's something that we're working towards and something that we want. From our perspective, this is just another opportunity to prove that we belong in the conversation, and we look forward to the challenges.
The Comcast Network proudly presents the CN100 Game of the Week. Tonight, we're in Blue Island for a Class 4A Eisenhower sectional semifinal as the #1 seeded Simeon Wolverines take on the 5th seeded Vikings of Homewood-Flossmoor. And we welcome you inside Eisenhower High School and the original March Madness. Alongside my partner Cameron Smith, Mark Kruger, we're delighted to have you with us here tonight. Well, Cameron, at this stage of the tournament, it gets pretty serious. Everybody with a regional championship under the belt, each team with a lot of confidence, and each team quite capable of heading to Peoria.
Well, Mark, it gets tougher and tougher as you advance through the state tournament. But tonight we have 2 teams that are very capable of playing for a 4A state championship in Peoria. We're going to have a really good game tonight.
Let's talk about these Vikings of Homewood-Flossmoor. They started out of the gate a little bit slow. 7-7 after their first 14 games, trying to get the right mix. And Cameron, I'd say they got the right mix now because they're coming into tonight riding a 13-game winning streak.
Well, Mark Condotti's team hit their stride perfectly, and that's right at the end of the regular season. Now, they've beaten some of the better teams in the south suburbs, most notably the Thornton Wildcats in last week's regional championship win. That was huge for this program. Now, tonight, they have the difficult task of trying to stop this Simeon Wolverines machine, but they are very capable because they have the athletes, they have the talent, but it's going to take a full team effort if they're going to get this upset.
As far as the #1 seeded Wolverines are concerned, well, all as they did in their regional games is average 90 points per game. But remember, it was in this game, the sectional semis last year, that they lost to Whitney Young. They don't want to bow out 2 years in a row in the sectional semis.
Not at all, and I guarantee you Robert Smith and his Wolverines remember that loss in last year's sectional against Whitney Young, and I'm sure they've used that as a bit of motivation in preparation for tonight's game. Now, they're the #1 team in the state of Illinois for various reasons, and I'm sure they are ready to continue their state dominance in the state playoffs, so we'll see what they can do.
2 minutes gone by here in this opening quarter. Look at Williams.
Wow. Well, here's DJ Williams again. Zachary Norvell, another assist, and look at that. He actually was going up with one, touched it with the left, and came back down with 2 hands. That is next level stuff from DJ Williams. All right, you see all 5 white jerseys to the rim, and there's Morrow.
Hello.
Go ahead and show out for the crowd, Ed Morrow. We have a lot of these players on this roster this year that were members of last year's team in that loss against Whitney Young in the sectional, and Ed Morrow is one of them. Says this time, I'm getting it done.
All 16 points for the Wolverines coming in the paint.
Mark Kruger, that looked like you a little bit on that 2-handed dunk.
Norvell misses the triple attempt. Pryor whips it ahead to Barnes, and his shot from the right baseline is good.
Well, that's a nice recognition pass from Pryor, and there's Destin Barnes showcasing that smooth mid-range game. And they're really having a strong start to this third quarter, Mark.
Moss's 3 off. Perry quickly ahead to Bradley, who makes a beautiful move, the tipped up by Pryor.
Well, Pryor has shown some sneaky athleticism around that rim. That's his 3rd 2-handed dunk. And you're looking at a player in Pryor that stands only 6'1". I'm sure he's about 5'11". You always add a couple of inches to that roster if you're a player with your height. But he has really shown some ability to get up to the rim and finish strong.
Here come the Wolverines. Morrow! 20 now for Morrow.
You cannot compete with this young man when he has his volumes turned up like this.
The young sophomore, Nick Perry, just kind of let him slide here.
I mean, he is cloud stepping, Mark, in Eisenhower High School. They have to build a bigger gymnasium because this young man has done everything in the air throughout these first 3 quarters.
To view this exclusive Xfinity TV programming in its entirety, check the CN100 schedule for a list of airtimes, or view this program anytime on demand by selecting Get Local and choosing CN100.